Hey y'all, how's everybody doing today? I hope well. Just back again to do another video. Today's something a little bit different as far as a question that I wanted to answer that had been asked to me about transitioning later in life, actually. So before we get down to the nuts and bolts of that, hey, you guys hit the like button, subscribe, and as always, please feel free to leave your respectful and insightful comments are always welcome, as well as maybe there's a video or something that you'd like me to do. That'd be appreciated as well. Always need help in that area. Um, anyway, so what I wanted to move forward was saying was that there was some discussion about when I started to transition um, concerning why I waited so late in life to do that. Um, and the answer to that is there was a lots of reasons not to do it earlier in life for me. I'm going to give you guys kind of a summary of what I went through, and maybe it's going to help some of you that are considering a transition as well. Um, I was, I'm 51 now. I was 45 somewhere in there when, maybe 44 when I started uh, doing therapy for my gender transition. Um, I had lots of gender dysphoria, and because of that, I needed a good therapist. So my wife Kelly helped me find one. She actually says she did it, so I'll give her credit for that. But anyway, I found a great therapist and started working on that probably about a year before I started on hormones. Um, when I came along, I guess I grew up, really a child of the 80s, and there just wasn't that much information out there about being transgender. At that time, it was transsexual, transvestite. Were the two terms then I think that I heard most. And although I knew I felt different and what was going on with me, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't Google for me to just reach out and go, hey, Google, what does this mean? How can I go about fixing this? So there wasn't any of that. Um, was raised in a conservative household in South Georgia. So that, was a different set of circumstances also. It just wasn't something that, I guess I knew that there was something going on gender related. I just didn't know how to put it into words. Um, and even if I could have, honestly, I wouldn't have during that time because I just didn't understand enough about what was going on inside of me. So, alas, had to wait, right? It is what it is, and that's okay. Um, one thing for me, once, got out of school and started working in, my 20s and that kind of stuff, became an adult, getting ready to start and raise a family, um, yeah, I was fully aware I was dealing with this. Absolutely knew. Thought maybe it would go away. Confused. Didn't know what to do about it. Disgusted with myself because of it. God, there's so many feelings, y'all, that come to mind about all of this that I really haven't thought about like in a long time. But I can suffice to say, it wasn't the right time for me to transition. There was no way. There just wasn't enough information out there. And look, here's the thing. When you're dealing with something like this, it's so easy to compartmentalize that and put it in a tiny closet and lock the door and throw away the key in the back of your head and not have to deal with it. That's what I did. Kept coming back up, kept happening. I couldn't figure out why, but I now know why. Because shit, I chose not to deal with it. I didn't face it. I didn't want to face it. This was something that nagged me until I transitioned, right? My whole life, my whole entire life, this has bothered me, and I chose to do nothing about it. Sad, really, I guess, so to speak. But again, I'm so happy today with my life. I've never been happier in my life. And, there's some that say, okay, well, maybe you only have, so many years left or whatever. I'm not going to live my life with regrets. I can't do anything about that now. Yeah, I do have less time left than if I would have transitioned 25 years ago. Just wasn't an option for me. So moving forward, I'm going to live on my best days. I promise you that. But anyway, having a family, being in an environment where I couldn't share these things and I kept it a deep, deep, dark secret, was easy not to be able to deal with it at that time. Keeping it locked away, dealing with it on my own in private, not telling anyone, was painful. It was. Looking back now, really think about that. It was painful to deal with. I said this in another video, but I'm male to female. I bought so many clothing items, makeup, accessories, shoes, wigs, guys, anything you can imagine, and I've thrown it away. And I'm not talking about just one time. I'm talking about dozens of times. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of dollars over the years of doing that. So that I'm saying that to remind myself and let you guys know too that it was a painful experience for me. I wasn't okay. The whole time dealing with gender dysphoria, I wasn't okay. I realize that now. I hate it. There's just nothing I can do about it. So again, moving forward, right? But I didn't feel as though I was in a place with my family, my spouse at the time, my job. Most of us need a job. I've been with the same company for over 23 years now. I think fate had it that I would come to work for a company that was a very liberal corporation that would allow me to transition to work and keep my job. And they've done that. It's been almost 2 years now since I've transitioned, and things at work, are the same. They're fine. No problems there. So that was a good thing. But 15, 20 years ago when my children were young and were babies and my spouse didn't work, I was the income to pay the bills and for the family. Wasn't an option to throw all caution to the wind and say, hey, I'm transgender, let me go ahead and sign up for losing that job and getting in the unemployment line, and having a career making a lot less money somewhere. Hell, I couldn't afford that. I couldn't do it. So saying those things, that's what brings me to the point of, yeah, it was 45 years. I was 45 years old, divorced, full custody of my 2 children. I was at a point to where this dysphoria thing was literally just kicking my ass all over the place. So it was then that I had to make a decision like, I've got to do something about this. I've got to make a change. I've got to see where this is going to go and what it's going to do, because it hadn't been working for me. It was just, quite frankly, just too painful. It got to be to where I think I found myself broken, The more I started thinking about how gender dysphoria was affecting me, the more I knew I had to deal with it, because that made me really sad. Again, most of you that have followed my videos know my story. I reunited with my BFF from school from, 30 years earlier. Told her what was going on. This girl didn't miss a lick. She jumped on board and we moved forward. So I knew then, as scared as I was about facing this, that there was some light at the end of the tunnel, that this was going to be okay. Whatever it turned out to be, it was going to be okay. Y'all know I get emotional, right? But I was able to face it. With Kelly's support, I was able to face this and deal with it. I got to a point where I was taking hormones and rocking along. Spoke to my children about it. They were fine. They understood. They accepted it. They were good with all that. I knew by researching through work and checking out, we've got one of the oldest LGBT employee resource groups actually in the nation for our corporation. So I tapped into those resources, became friends with other LGBT people at work, spoke to them, people that had transitioned, and they were okay. They told me, hey, this company's going to stand behind you. They're right. They have. So I started having a sense of calm about me that now I wasn't going to lose my family. I wasn't going to lose my job. And, my spouse was on board. I was free to be me, finally, right? So it was the right time for me. I decided that at 49, that I wasn't going to turn 50 and not transition. So I went through my, completed my medical transition, and then went through social and legal transitioning as well, with my name change and all that. And it's great. It's been great since. I'm not going to lie and say that there hasn't been ups and downs in all of it. Even after our transition, of course there is. My transition hasn't fixed any other issues in my life, but it certainly has quieted the gender dysphoria that I've been dealing with my whole adult life. And I guess even my teenage and younger years too, even though I didn't realize that's what it was at the time. But yeah, so people that ask, why do you wait later in life? I think the woman who gave birth to me, unfortunately, I don't have a relationship with her anymore, by her choosing. And that's okay. It's fine. Maybe she needs more time or something. I'm not really not sure. But she was one that asked me, why would you wait this late in life to do something about it? And when she said that to me in a hateful tone, a hateful tone, obviously it should have been evident to her at that point that that's why I waited so long, because I couldn't have told her before then. When I was growing up, number one, I didn't know how to explain it, but two, she would not have been able to accept it. When I'm grown and I ask nothing from her or the rest of my family, most of them aren't able to accept it now. So I'm trying to gather my thoughts here again. But yeah, for me, mid-40s was it. I see some people that lose their family, their jobs, their spouse, their well-being, their mental health. Tragically, even some lives are lost as well, because they don't deal with this even later in life. So listen, I just say to each and every one of you, you'll know when the right time is for you. No one else is going to be able to tell you that. I beat myself up a good bit thinking, once I got into therapy and I started hormones, it's like, why can I not get to a point to where I'm going to be okay to transition and accept this is who I am. This is my authentic self. I'm going to be so much happier living that way. Why couldn't I get to that point sooner? I have no friggin' clue. I don't know. But I didn't. I couldn't. It didn't happen. But I do remember when it got to the point to where I couldn't take it anymore. That was the point to where I knew transition was going to fix that. And it did. It absolutely did. So anyway, I hope this video has been insightful to you guys. I think I've talked about my mood before when it's cloudy outside and such. Today's one of those days. It's cloudy, it's rainy. Maybe I'm a little blue because of that. My mood is so weather dependent. But anyway, so I just figured it was a good time to make another video and, give you guys a little insight to what, transpired with me, why I waited later in life, how it was the right time for me, and how, looking back, I just don't know that there was another time. Like I said, I wish I could have transitioned when I was 20 years old. It would have fixed so many things. Would have taken care of so much pain in my life. A lot of sad days in there. But just fate didn't have it. Wasn't in my cards for that. But I'm happy that I've now done it. Okay. Anyway, you guys take care. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, little thumbs up, like button's great. And please leave any comments as well. Even if you want to see another video or have a question for me, ask a question. I'll try to answer it best I can. And I would love to answer it in a video as well. So you guys take care. And until next time, peace.